in the vibrant village of Ilé Ọmọ Ayé. Known for its colorful festivals and the sound of drums echoing through the hills, there lived a young man named Tunde. Tunde was a strong and tall man, but he had one peculiar trait. When the drum beats called for action, Tunde always stayed silent. Tunde's father Baba Ade was a respected drummer in the village. He often said, "When the drum beats, it calls the soul to act." But Tunde never felt that call. He would shrug and say, "Let others answer. I prefer to watch." During festivals, when the drummers played and the villagers danced, Tunde would sit under the shade of a palm tree, chewing on sugarcane. The elders would shake their heads, saying, "A man who does not respond to the drum is no man at all." One day, Baba Ade called Tunde to the family drum. "My son," he said, "this drum has been in our family for generations. It is not just an instrument. It is a call to action, a call to life. Will you learn to play it?" Tunde shook his head. "Drums are for those who want to sweat. I am not one of them." The festivals continued, and so did Tunde's silence, but trouble was brewing. One day the village was visited by raiders, and the drummers beat their alarm to warn everyone. The sound echoed through the hills, but Tunde stayed where he was, under his tree. The raiders spared no one who stayed behind. Baba Ade, too old to run, faced the raiders bravely, his drum in hand. But Tunde stayed hidden, silent as ever, even as his father's drum beats faded into silence. The raiders spared no one who stayed behind. Life in the village became harder. Without Baba Ade's guidance, the drummers lost their rhythm, and the festivals became less lively. Tunde tried to go back to his tree, but it wasn't the same. One day, a young boy approached Tunde. "Why didn't you help us, Tunde? My father said you are strong, but you did nothing." The boy's words stung, but Tunde said nothing. From that day on, the villagers stopped talking to Tunde. He became a ghost in his own village, walking through the streets where no one acknowledged him. The years passed, and Tunde's strength faded. The drumbeats of Ilé Ọmọ Ayé continued, but Tunde was no longer welcome in their rhythm. The village moved on without Tunde. New drummers emerged, and festivals became lively once again, but Tunde was forgotten. He spent his days wandering the outskirts of the village, his head hung low, avoiding the places where drumbeats still filled the air. One fateful evening, the village faced another threat. A bushfire swept through the farmlands, and the drums once again called the villagers to action. The people worked together to save their homes, but Tunde stayed in his small hut, staring at the broken drum he had salvaged after his father's death. The villagers managed to stop the fire, but several farmlands were destroyed. When they returned to the square, they found Tunde standing silently by the well, watching them. "Why didn't you help us?" they asked, but Tunde just looked away. After that day, Tunde was completely shunned. No one shared food with him, no one greeted him. Even the children who once looked up to him ran the other way when they saw him coming. Tunde grew weaker with time. He no longer ventured into the village, staying in his crumbling hut at the edge of the farmlands. The once strong man who could have been a hero now lived as a shadow of his former self. One rainy night, the villagers heard the faint sound of drumming. It was a weak, unsteady rhythm. Curious, some ventured to the edge of the village and found Tunde, sitting alone in the rain, beating on his father's broken drum with trembling hands. The villagers watched silently, their hearts heavy, but no one approached him. He ignored the drumbeats of life, an elder whispered. Now he plays a drum that no one hears. Tunde's health worsened after that night. He spent his final days in silence, the broken drum beside him. When he passed, no one in the village mourned. His burial was quiet, attended only by the wind and the whispers of the trees. Tunde's story became a warning for generations. The elders would tell the children, "When the drum beats, answer it, for life will not wait for the silent." And so, the tale of Tunde, the man who stayed silent when the drumbeats called, was etched into the history of Ilé Ọmọ Ayé. A life lived without purpose, a drum played too late. Thank you for watching this thought-provoking tale. Tunde's story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of seizing opportunities and answering the call to action. In life, the drums won't wait for us. They demand courage, effort, and responsibility. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What lessons do you take away from Tunde's fate?